This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with guitarist and vocalist Paul Lidel of the Texas-based hard rock act Paul Lidel's Scream Therapy. If I knew absolutely nothing about Scream Therapy, how would you describe the band's music to me?
I would say it's a hard rock band that is sort of steeped in like the early Van Halen, Aerosmith, maybe a little bit of like Dio and Rainbow kind of vibe, maybe a little bit of Judas Priest, but like that era and that style of bands, and which is not necessarily what like it's designed for, but that's the way it comes out, because that's the stuff that I love. So
you released your self-titled debut in 2023. How did the idea of Scream Therapy come to be?
It came out of I had a band before that I also fronted and was the primary songwriter for, and that band sort of fell apart during the pandemic. And so after the pandemic, I started up Scream Therapy.
Was it important to have your name a part of the band's title? I know that like a lot of Swedish bands do this, but the actual name of the band is Paul Lidel's Scream Therapy.
It is, and and it's an apt name because like a lot of it is like just me letting it out, and that is my Scream Therapy. I feel much better after, like I think songwriting is cathartic, and singing, and like when you go to a show and you're like screaming and shouting, that's cathartic. And so that is the Scream Therapy. And and our drummer was suggesting that I just call it Paul Lidel, and I'm like, well, sounds like a country band. I was like, but if we call it Paul Lidel's Scream Therapy, then it's pretty clear that it's not a country band.
Absolutely. You're on the verge of releasing your second album, Are You Ready?, on October 17th through Perris Records. Did you start working on this album as soon as the last one was out? Because there really isn't much time in between releases.
Yeah. We're always working on stuff. I'm always writing, and so yeah, we started getting the demos together and everything. We ended up with quite a bit more songs than we needed, which is the same as the first album. The first album, we pared it down to 12 songs, and some people felt like that was too many songs to put on an album. So this time it's just 10, but there's lots of leftovers.
So did you use any of the leftovers from the first album and kind of tweak them for this Are You Ready album?
No. Did not. No. No, they'll go into the vault, and
maybe one day Paul Lidel's Vault releases something.
Yeah, there's a stockpile. There's lots and lots of songs. So
okay. Why don't we talk a little bit about the singles that you have out now? You've released We Got Rock and Roll. I really don't think there's much explanation to it, but why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. That song is about the idea of how when you go to a show, or people that like hard rock music are sort of part of a thing, right? And you have something in common with everybody else that is part of that thing. And at a rock show, you go there and you have that in common with everybody else in that room. So it doesn't matter, regardless of their, their different walks of life. Everybody has that one thing in common. So I thought that was really cool, and I was like, yeah, I need to write a song about that encompasses that idea of this camaraderie that everybody feels like when they're at a rock show, or the people that like this sort of what would you call it, new classic hard rock, which, I mean, there's a lot of new bands out now that have that new classic hard rock kind of sound, and I'm a fan of a lot of them. So so fans of that, of those genres all have that thing in common, and so that's what that song's about. In the chorus is, we got rock and roll pumping through our veins and tattooed on our brains. It's like it's just part of us.
Absolutely.
So it's your DNA,
Once a rocker, always a rocker. I think
That's
it's
right. Yeah.
The music sticks with you forever, and you judge everything by what you heard growing up.
I think that's fair, but there's a lot of there's a new generation that is as big a fan of that style of music as you and I, and even there's a generation of people that are playing it every bit as well as the bands did back then, and I don't know if they heard it from their parents or whatever, but it's cool because it's it's newer bands, not old men, just like newer, younger people that are playing this style of music. So that sort of keeps it alive. And
someone like Dirty Honey.
Dirty Honey is a great example. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm going to see them on Sunday. I'm very excited.
Great band.
Dirty Honey's a great example of the what I call the new classic hard rock, if there's a such thing. But
I think you just coined it, and I'll use it every day afterwards now.
Yeah. It's a thing, where these new bands are playing that style, whether it's, like myself, it's a new band, but it's drawing on my influences from like a real long time ago. And some of these people are drawing on from what they, it wasn't when they were growing up, but, they might have gotten it from their parents or something.
The album's title track, I believe, is also a single. Are You Ready?
Yeah.
This is more like your calling card. This is like, hey, this is my band. I hope you're ready to hear this, right?
That's right. Are you ready for this? And that talks about how people, when they go to a rock show, when they are escaping the grind of their stress and 9-to-5 jobs and everything, and they go to a rock show and they get to just rock out and just let that go. And it also talks about how much we love to play for them, and so that's what that song's about.
Another song that I enjoyed on the album was Never Satisfied. It's not so much you looking at someone else that you can't please. It's more about you're not good at, accepting yourself and the situations and the things that you're in. It's more of self-depreciation. Well,
it's about, I think a lot of people can relate to this, and it's about, when you get real sort of, when you're too hard on yourself, and you're like, I gotta push, I gotta get better and this and that, and but then in the bridge, it sort of flips it, and it says, well, that me being too hard on myself is my fuel. That's my fire. That's what puts me back in the game. That's what keeps me going. So it's kind of like that idea is like, okay, well, the reason I get going is because I'm hard on myself. So yeah. So that's yeah. That song, I don't know if it's too personal, but I think a lot of people can relate to it.
Sure. Do you have another song in mind as a single?
But after Are You Ready?
Yes.
Yeah, so the first two singles, by the way, we should mention, Are You Ready is going to be released on October 1st, and it'll be accompanied with a video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so we are excited about that, and we don't know. We'll have two more singles, and I can't be the one to pick it, because I feel like, you know, I would be biased somehow. So we're asking different people that have heard the album, and I would be interested in your opinions. And so when you collect a bunch of different people's opinions, certain ones sort of start to bubble to the top, you know? And so that's the way we chose the singles for the last album, and we'll do that again. Do you have any suggestions?
I'm gonna go with Never Satisfied.
Oh, really? Okay.
Your next video that you're releasing, is that going to be a live performance video like your first one?
No, that one's going to be, it'll be, it's done in like a studio environment.
Okay.
So it's, it was filmed at a rehearsal facility, and so it should be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think I'm going to get to see it later today, actually. the first draft. So yeah.
Are You Ready's being released on CD? Do you see it released on vinyl at some point?
At some point, we would love to have that. Yeah, but we will see about that.
There's a lot of cost with something like that, right?
There is, and you could end up sitting on it. But yeah, so if it if it looks like it's something that makes sense, you know, when the band gets a little bit more well known, then that kind of thing will make more sense. But yeah, I'm a fan of you know, holding the vinyl record in your hand, and CDs to an extent too. But yeah, the vinyl thing is real cool, and nothing sounds better, I think, than an album on vinyl.
It's getting tougher to find a CD player. Like my latest car doesn't have one.
Right? Yeah, mine doesn't either. But CDs sound better than listening to a song on streaming.
Absolutely.
There's yeah, and I don't know if a lot of people know that, and then albums sound better than CDs, I think. So you know, streaming's fine, but it doesn't sound as good.
Agreed.
So a lot of people will want to have, you know, the physical CD. Not to mention just the whole thing of you know, looking at the liner notes and having the experience of, you know, you just put it on and you listen to just that. Because when you're listening to, like, on streaming, Spotify or whatever, you tend to go all over the place.
Another thing with streaming that I think people are finding out versus physical media is that sometimes the streaming music or movie or whatever disappears, and now you don't have it. And physical media is with you always. Or they change the streaming media. Or there's an objective word. There's a scene that we can't keep in this movie anymore, and it kind of degrades the original thing.
That's true. And if you buy it, you own it, and you have it, and it's yours, and nobody can change it. I think that's good.
Absolutely. Scream Therapy has a few live shows coming up locally in Texas.
Yeah.
At this stage in the band's, I guess, 2-3 years in existence, playing locally makes more sense than trying to take it across the road at this point.
Well, we do have intent of getting out of Texas and to the East Coast. I'm from Rochester, New York, and so we have a certain amount of and then certain amount of people that are aware of the band there, and then in Pennsylvania and Baltimore. So I would like to make a run like that, and but upcoming shows, we're opening for Warrant at the Hotspot Event Center coming up on October 11th, and we're really looking forward to that. We played there before when we opened for LA Guns, and it's a really cool place. Great place to see shows.
Have you ever come across the band Warrant before in your music career?
Oh, yeah. Many times. Dangerous Toys has played shows with Warrant, and yeah, I've crossed paths a lot. They've been around a long time, and so have I.
So one place in particular I noticed that Scream Therapy plays a lot is Hanover's Draft House. I mean, it seems like a pretty good gig and all the beer that you want, right?
It's a great place, and I've been playing there for a long, long time. And it's they have like real good sound system, and it's a great place, for rock bands. They still have original rock bands, and so that makes it a cool place. So we play there, often.
Do they make their own beer there? Because you could talk them into a Scream Therapy beer.
Yeah, we got to do that.
I noticed in a lot of your promotional materials, you have this white Dean V guitar. When did you decide that was the guitar for you?
That was the guitar that I used on the first Dirty Looks record, recorded in 1987 and released in 88. So I've had that guitar for a long, long time. And it's always been a favorite. And so when I was thinking of the name, I'm like, well, what if the Y was that upside down flying V, which is, and then they would know it's not a country band because it's like, so that's how the logo came about. And in the band live, I use that guitar pretty much exclusively. Whereas other bands, I use other guitars.
Right. You're also playing scattered live dates with Dangerous Toys, not a full-time schedule, but certainly dates here and there across America. I wanted to take you back to 1994 where you joined the band. How were you recruited into Dangerous Toys?
We were friends for a while. I met those guys when Dirty Looks was playing here in Austin, and we were on tour, and they were just starting their tour, so we happened to be able to catch them at a local venue on the same night as we were playing, but earlier in the night. So we went and saw them, and I believe they came and saw us after that. But they were starting their first tour with LA Guns and Tora Tora, I believe, and and then paths crossed, and basically, when they needed a guitar player, they asked me. So that was in the works for a while before it actually came to pass.
And you're heading up my way on the East Coast in November. You're gonna be
Looking forward to that.
You're gonna be in Derry, New Hampshire, I believe, and in Providence, Rhode Island, or just outside of Providence, with local act All Sinners. I actually saw you last time I saw you. It was in New Bedford with All Sinners opening up.
Ah,
are those the only tour dates so far for the rest of the year for Dangerous Toys?
Is that true? No, I think we have some other stuff on the books. I don't recall right off the hand what it is, but I think there's other dates as well.
Well, I know in 2026 you guys are going to be hitting the Monsters of Rock cruise. Have you ever done one of these cruises before?
Yeah, this will be, I think, 7th one for Dangerous Toys or so. And when Dirty Looks was playing a set of reunion sort of to honor Henrik kind of shows, we played on the Monsters of Rock cruise with Jason singing.
So are these rock cruises kind of chaotic with so many bands playing in so many different locations over a period of time?
It's not chaotic. It's extremely well organized. The people on the boat are all top-notch pros, like all the techs and everything, and they have people just taking care of everything. Now, there's so much going on the boat that it's difficult to catch everything you want to. So that's like the challenge of going on one of those cruises is you would have to schedule what you want to see, and because there's always stuff going on. So it's a lot of fun. And this will be 8 or 9 coming up for me, and I just love getting to hang with everybody and getting to talk to everybody. So that's a cool part of it for me.
And it's also like Rock Band reunion. You guys can mingle with all those guys that you came up with, right?
Exactly. That's the cool thing is that all the guys in all the bands are going to see all the guys in all the other bands. And so yeah, you'll be in the audience and you look behind you and there's Nuno Bettencourt, you know?
Yeah, Nuno's doing all right, huh?
He is.
So it's been about 30 years since Dangerous Toys released the new album. Is there any talk of any new material in the future?
Yes, there is. And we, as Scott put on his Facebook page, we'll be releasing a new studio album in 2026.
Awesome.
So some of that's already done. Some of that is still to be done. But there's a lot of songs that we have and picking and choosing from and things like that.
Is it something that's going to stay true to I'd say the earlier albums of Dangerous Toys versus something like the artist formerly known as Dangerous Toys?
Oh yeah, much closer to the first album. I would say if the first album was mixed in with like some ZZ Top and Aerosmith and Van Halen. Those things together really that's how I would describe the sound of it, which is a lot of my favorite things. So,
and it comes through in your own music too.
Yeah, those it's the same things, you know.
So you mentioned Dirty Looks several times as we've been talking. I had no idea that you were in that band, but I knew of the band. Its prime years were 87 to 94 for yourself. How were you originally brought into that band? Because from what I understand, they had albums before you joined.
They did. They had a couple independent albums, and lived in Rochester, New York at the time, and they were based in Pennsylvania, and so I was asked to audition, and I drove to Pennsylvania for that, and then joined the band, and we toured up and down the East Coast quite a bit for a while, and then eventually got signed to Atlantic.
Do you remember how the Atlantic deal came about?
The House of Guitars in Rochester, New York, is like the largest music store in New York, and there's a guy named Armand Charbrock that owns the House of Guitars. He's one of the owners, and so he pulled some strings and got us reviewed in one of those industry magazines, and that review prompted the major labels to start coming, and then after that we started doing a whole bunch of showcases for various different labels. Like every show is like, oh, who's here tonight, kind of thing.
And
ended up with Atlantic Records.
And your first major label album was Cool from the Wire, which is considered the band's defining album. You worked with producer Max Norman. Tell me a little bit about working with him in the studio.
He was great. He's like this unbelievable workaholic guy, and his stamina is unreal as far as how many hours he can work. And as a matter of fact, when we were doing the Cool from the Wire album, he was recording another band at the same time, like at night. So I don't know when he slept, but he was great to work with, and he's very nice. But then when he was working with the entire band, he was more taskmaster. But when it was just him and I, he was very nice. And it was only a little bit intimidating knowing that, Randy Rhoads had been standing next to him recording his stuff. So
that must have been something.
Yeah.
So you left Dirty Looks in 94, I assume, to join Dangerous Toys, correct?
No. I received a letter from Henrik, and he said we need to call it a day, and meaning break up the band. And so that was the case. And then, as I said, like my joining Dangerous Toys had been talked about for quite a while. And so then there was time for me to go to Texas.
You mentioned, doing a couple of Dirty Looks reunion shows on the rock cruise. A couple members, obviously, of Dirty Looks are no longer with us, and you did it in tribute to them. Do you see that happening again in the future?
Oh, I don't know. We did a half a dozen of those, and we did it because a lot of people wanted to hear those songs again, and wanted to celebrate that Henrik and those times and all that, and so it may have run its course now. So yeah, but it was great doing those shows. The first show that we did of those half a dozen or so shows, the first show that we did, we recorded it and had a camera crew there, and so that's now released as a live DVD and an album, and it turned out really well. And we recorded it because I wasn't sure if it was ever going to happen again.
Fair enough. Besides Dangerous Toys and Paul Lidel's Scream Therapy, are there any other projects you're currently working on?
Well, myself and Jack from Dirty Looks and Jason from Dangerous Toys, we get together to write just for fun. And so we've released a couple songs that are on streaming under the name Hot Shot.
Okay.
So that's like when we started doing the sort of the reunion shows, if you will, a lot of people were asking, oh, what about new music, from this group of guys. But while we didn't want to call it Dirty Looks, though. So it's called Hot Shot, and the O of shot has an umlaut if anybody wants to find it on streaming.
I will have to check it out. I assume it's in the vein of Dirty Looks.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Well, Paul, those are all the questions I have for you today. The new Paul Lidel's Scream Therapy album is Are You Ready? It's out on October 17th through Perris Records. Fantastic album. I didn't hear the debut album, but this one, fantastic. I'm going to go back, check out the last one, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it just as much. And I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me more about it.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. I appreciate it.